want to press it now too.
Jesus.
Look, production just went up.
Indeed.
Just like, we got some things working in the background.
Yeah, okay.
Soundboard.
I knew
Shouts
she was
out
going to love
to
that.
ATL
I knew she was going to love that.
Okay.
Okay, shouts out to ATL Basement Studios. So, as y'all can see, it's not one of us, it's not two of us, it's not three of us, but it's what? Four. Cuatro.
Look at you. Now you're talking brother man from the 5th floor.
From the fifth floor. From the fifth floor. So we have one of my favorite people here in the whole wide world. Shannon, say hello to the people.
Hello. Thank you.
Yes, girl. So
Well, I guess production was not high because we didn't get the audience.
Oh,
clap.
yeah. Guess we got to do that ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, look, see, God heard my cry.
See, production, y'all never told us that y'all had these sound effects. So now that we know, we have to implement them.
Shout out to Keyshawn.
Right, yeah, Keyshawn.
Right.
That's our engineer. So, Shannon, we're going to
One
have...
of our engineers.
One of them.
Shout out to Tia.
And Tia. What's up, Tia? So, Shannon, we're going to give you a formal introduction, but we got to get some housekeeping stuff, some check-ins first. So, it's been a minute. Y'all know our good brother Clarence wasn't here with us the last
I was
episode.
not, but
We had
here
the bottle
now.
of water representing you.
We did, because he loved that water, Shannon, child. He loved that water.
Well, we didn't have that size. We just had a regular. But it was their park though, which you put me on to.
I only
Deer
do
Park
spring
tastes
water
funny.
and alkaline.
No, Deer Park
Should've
actually.
said-
Let me tell you, my brother put me onto it, and I love it, and that's what we had here representing
We
him.
can't do the Dasani. We got to do
Water
spring
does-
or
yes.
alkaline water.
Yes, or mineral.
Yes,
But Deer Park?
that tastes is fine to me.
I'll tell you why I like Deer Park. I like Deer Park because Deer Park is a subsidiary of Zephyr Hills, and I'm from Florida.
What's that for you?
Zephyr Hills is the Florida Deer Park, or Deer Park
It's
is
so thick.
But Deer Park.
It's nice. It's nice and
Zephyr
smooth
Hill.
though.
No.
It tastes. He put me onto it. I tried it, and I love it.
So,
Yeah.
we want to check in. And also, I forgot to mention this. Y'all know what it is, right? It's March. You know what March is?
Women's History Month.
Women's History Month. Check out my shirt. Black women are iconic AF. Shouts out to my line sister. She created that shirt. So, when we do our check-ins, let's also say who was one of the most influential women in our lives. Clarence, let's start with you, brother man.
Give me my time back because I was not here last week. Last
Here we go.
month. Sorry.
Remember, we on the time limit, Clarence.
Happy belated Black History Month. Anyway. I'm good. Work is stressing me out. I'm planning a big conference.
What, Clark?
Yeah, the
Okay.
Africana Digital Humanities Conference. Check my socials for the registration link. Everybody's welcome. If you're in the digital humanities space, you're more than welcome to come. Worked really hard on it. The most
Send me that link. Yeah, send me that link.
I will. Yeah, definitely open to all. The most influential Black woman in my life. It's not just one. It is any Black woman who has poured into me, prayed for me, and stood in the gap for me.
Ooh, because I
And
had
loved
a praying
and loved me
grandmother.
genuinely.
Yeah.
There you go. So that is the most influential.
Who run the world? Black women. What about? I hope I don't get it. Well, I hope I don't get it. But CJ, what's been going on with you, baby?
Well, I just came back from seeing my mom.
Hi, Mom.
Over the weekend. So
In
shout out to my
Connecticut,
mom.
right?
Yes.
Connecticut.
So I just got back yesterday. We had a good visit, which will lead into the woman who inspires me the most. She's very influential to me in my life, which is my mom, because she is such a strong warrior. And all the things that she dealt with, from health-wise to family issues to just life in general, she just shows me every day that she's a phenomenal, strong Black woman.
Oh, and both of you all's mothers have raised some amazing men.
Thank you.
I give y'all that.
Thank you.
I
Yes.
give y'all
Thank
that.
you.
Like, y'all are gentlemen. And I know y'all would not let anything happen to me. Y'all just met Shannon. Like, y'all literally just met Shannon within, like, the past 20 minutes. If somebody were to walk, God forbid, walk in here and try to, like, wreck shop on us, y'all would make sure Shannon is straight, too. So I appreciate
100%.
y'all.
100%.
I appreciate y'all. Now, Shannon, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but a tradition here is that we do a quick little a 2-minute check-in and then tell us who was the most influential woman in your life. Preferably Black woman, but, you know.
So with the check-in, what would you like to know?
What's been going on with you?
Life.
Life.
Yes.
I know your lipping.
Thank you. I've been on a whirlwind, Candace, like the last 2 months. 2 weeks.
A good
Let's go.
whirlwind?
Girl, no. So, but it's okay.
Oh, do we need to talk offline?
Is life
I guess.
lifing?
Life is lifing right now.
Okay.
But I'm okay.
Okay.
Is it?
God is
Mercury
good.
Retrograde.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So I think I'm confused and lost, but
That's the second time I've heard somebody say that
yes,
today.
I am
Well, things come in
confused
three.
and lost, but I'm gonna be okay.
You are.
Old fashioned Shannon.
I know that's right. The pregame, the party, the after party.
It's all right.
It's old Shannon,
Only way to
retired
go is
Shannon.
up.
Like,
It's like one of the strongest women alive. I've seen my mom overcome a lot of adversity, and you know, as her only child, my parents' only child, I have seen my mom like sacrifice to no avail, like to make sure that I was happy, and she has instill a lot of great character traits in me. Like I could not be the Shannon that everybody knows and has grown to love without my mom. So I think my mom is everything, and I just love her to death. And my kid is glued to her. So I couldn't be here tonight if it wasn't for my mom.
I know that's right.
Shout out to your
I
mom.
love that.
So
Shout out
she's
to her.
everything.
I'm my mom's only child too.
Oh, connection. Do you ever wish I had a sibling though?
No, then you have
Actually,
to share.
I did
But
though.
you share a lot though.
I did sometimes.
Really?
I did, yeah. But my mom's twin sister, may she rest in heaven. She only had one kid too, her daughter, and we kind of lived together growing up.
Really?
So she was like my sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. So what's been going on with me? As you mentioned, life. Nothing bad has happened, nothing triggering. But like, have you ever just felt like God is really like pushing you and he's putting your discernment on point? And sometimes I'm kind of scared because I'm like, oh God, like I know what you're telling me to do, but I don't know if I'm gonna do it. And then when I don't do it and when I go against what God is showing me, oh, y'all, it's getting at me. It's getting at me. So I'm like, I'm just really in that season of listening. And it's so scary because, well, maybe I shouldn't use the term scary. I don't know whatever term to look for.
You could be. It's okay to feel feelings.
Okay. Because like
I'm scared.
I've prayed to God for discernment in every area of my life. And now that he's giving it to me, I'm like, oh.
It's okay to be. It's okay to be afraid of
That's
it.
me the last 2 weeks. I asked, I prayed, I got this sign, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do it like this. And your girl is crying, girl.
Really? Okay, we're going to get into it. Maybe not on this episode, but we'll get into it because I don't want to put all your business out. But if we have to talk offline, we will. We will. So, people, the formal... Oh, my most influential woman in my life. I'm so shamed.
It was your
I
question.
know.
Right.
I'm so shamed. I'm so shamed. I'm not.
Shame.
I really am. So I don't want to sound cliche, but you all know. You know my mama. Y'all know y'all have heard me talk about my mama a lot. Rosetta Hayes Johnson. I would not be the woman that I am today if it were not for my mom. And I'm noticing that the older that I get, I have so many of her traits that I used to be like, roll my eyes at when I was younger. And, you know, humbly speaking, my mom, she literally came from nothing. And to see where she is today, it's amazing. And I do want to brag on her real quick. My mom is Black History. I think you know this, but my mom, she's retired now, but my mom was the first Black female for the director of administrations at the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. My mama is Black History.
That's
Okay.
amazing.
So like I just gotta like shout her out because when I tell y'all nothing, her parents were sharecroppers.
Wow.
Like, and then, because my mom wasn't even going to go to school because they just couldn't afford it back then. But by the grace of God, a scholarship came through at Benedict College. So, again, growing up, I never really understood, like, why they were just, like, so hard on my sister and myself when it came to academics. But it makes sense. Because my dad, he didn't come from anything either, you know? So, you know, that's my girl.
No, she is history.
No, like,
Seriously.
she's history.
Women's history, Black history. Yeah.
She doesn't like talking about that though, because of that humble spirit. But I'm like, no, for the purposes of the day, I'm gonna brag on.
It's
mom.
educational and it's something to brag about. Yeah.
And then you didn't share that. Wasn't she Miss Benedict?
So in her head, she was Miss Benedict, but she was no, because she ran it. But she was Miss Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Okay.
Yeah, but y'all know my mama,
she-
AKA, but
AKA,
me and my
yes.
sister
Yeah,
Delta.
yeah.
Another Delta right here. But you saw my post and
So
I'm
your
like, what's up,
mom
Miss
didn't try to
Benedict?
get you to be an AKA?
We don't want to talk about that right now.
Okay, another story. We offline.
Delta is in your blood.
It is, but
But most parents normally try to get their kids to keep it legacy.
very true. But so my mom, like I said, she had a fear of us struggling, right? So that's why because she struggled growing up. So she wanted to make sure We're not gonna struggle. So she worked very hard. So in our formative years, my mom wasn't active at all with AKA. My mom became active as soon as she retired and when we got out of the house. So I feel like if my mom was active and had us in that type of stuff, maybe. But two of my aunts who helped raise us, shouts out to my aunt Tina and my aunt Chris. They're very influential as well. But they spoke Delta into my sister and myself. They had us in everything Delta Gyms, Delta Academy, all of that. So that's that. So
Makes
shouts
sense.
out to all of our moms. What a sound effect. What a sound effect.
Production's not here right now.
Oh, well. So we want to formally bring in Shannon. So I want you all to meet. Y'all have met her already, but our listeners, girl, I put your intro up.
Thank you.
I want y'all to meet a powerhouse of purpose and passion as a savvy real estate entrepreneur
Come on now.
and a licensed mental health professional. She's dedicated to transforming both properties and lives. Y'all heard that, right? Y'all caught that?
Come on.
Okay. She's also a proud, and y'all know I love my HBCUs. She's a proud HBCU graduate of the Bethune-Cookman College and an
Come on,
initiate
BC.
of the Delta.
You now.
Yes.
Oh, they changed it?
It's you.
You did say
I
that.
graduated from the college.
Ooh. So what's the university now? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad I had it right. She's also an initiate of the Delta Alpha chapter of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Hey, Sarah. Ooh. I know that's right. My girl. She carries the torch of excellence. Did you peep that? The torch of excellence. She carries the torch of excellence in service wherever she goes. Beyond her impressive credentials, she's an extraordinary mother, devoted daughter, and loyal friend. I've known Shannon since 2012. Shannon has the biggest heart ever, but she will get with you. But has the biggest heart ever, whose heart beats for making a lasting impact on the world. So with her powerful testimony today, she's on a mission to inspire, uplift, and empower others to embrace their own journey of growth and resilience. Y'all give it up for my girl, Shannon B. Fulton!
DST.
An original Georgia peach.
I am.
It's something about deltas. I love deltas. I love all of the Divine Nine, but
I do too.
we're gonna continue to pray for the Divine Nine
in this
in this season.
Oh, Jesus.
But we on the happy. Well, we on to better. We're on the up and up.
We are.
We're gonna leave it there. We're gonna leave it there. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of things.
The meat and potatoes.
Yeah, I want to talk about like what's one of my worst heartbreaks and what led to one of my biggest breakthroughs. I had to take me back a little bit.
Now, when you say heartbreak, you mean like just heartbreak in life, or
Broke you down. You lost weight.
A relationship, basically.
Okay.
That's very broad. I can understand that's very broad. We're gonna talk about relationships.
okay?
But like you thought you was gonna be up out of here. That type of low.
Where they say 10, 13.
10, 13.
Yes.
You stupid.
I would have to say mine happened in my 20s. I was used by someone. Like, this is somebody I helped get into college. They stayed with me, and then in turn had people in my house, my first apartment by myself, because they were staying with me. Yeah, really naive at the time.
You were in your 20s. Were they paying?
No.
Oh wow.
No food, didn't ask for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid. But anyway. But yeah, it really broke me because it was just like, wow.
Were y'all dating?
That's what my understanding was.
Okay. So you
Tell
felt
other
used and
people.
abused.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then was just a big liar. Still is lying. They're still perpetrating to be a part of a.
I used to know of this
Even in
person.
2025?
Yes, they still lying. They were 3 years older than me.
Wait, so you're still communicating with this person?
No,
Oh,
I wouldn't spit on them if they was on fire on the road.
Oh, that look. I
I'm
know
just
about
saying,
that.
I wouldn't.
okay.
I wouldn't.
So with that situation though, what was your biggest breakthrough? Because it seems like that took you down.
It did, and one of these days, well, later on, I'll break it down even deeper. They were just a vile person. And the breakdown came because at that time I was still very naive. I was still very giving. I was still very open-hearted, still very big, unguarded. You know, everything was just open. Like, yes, this is beautiful. It broke me down to the point where it's like I was really like dead to myself.
How'd you come back?
You know, I had a good tribe around me. And
That's it, that tribe.
I poured into myself more.
Mm-hmm.
What I had been pouring out,
He wasn't.
I refilled my own self.
Really?
Yeah. And so that's how I really gained a lot of self love.
Mm-hmm.
But did you refill yourself immediately, or did it take time?
No, I took my time to feel the feelings. But I knew I couldn't stay there too long because this is right. You know, I was about to graduate from Morehouse. I had a whole.
You had a lot going on. He
Yeah.
had nothing going on.
Nothing.
It's usually like that. It's usually like that.
So yeah, so it's like I had to pour back into myself and really truly love myself. And if I would not have gotten through it had it not been for my friends who were my chosen family behind me and who did not judge me. They may have talked about it, but they didn't judge me. And, you know, we kept it pushing and moving.
I love that.
I was always big into the church. So I poured, you know, I feel like God refilled me and healed what was broken. And I learned so much. And I'm so glad I learned so much because it really, I would start to see traits of that person into people that I would meet going in the future. And I'd be like, I don't want
Flag on the play.
Flag on the play.
Flag on the play.
Flag on the play. Don't want it. So yeah. But I think that's why we're here today. God made it so that we're here today. Because Danny, you have a story. And I want you to share your story with us. Share it with the people because we got to know this is what Proud Logan Evil is about. Okay? We want to hear it. So
the floor is yours, baby.
the floor is yours.
Oh my God. I think I was sleeping with the enemy. I think that's how I would like to title this. So,
Let's say what now?
sleeping with the enemy. So it goes back. I want to say you were in your 20s. I guess I should have known better. I probably was in my late 20s.
I think it was late 20s.
My late 20s
20s is something.
to my 30s, or I think I was in my early 30s. No, it was my late 20s. Either way.
Okay.
So I'm very outgoing. Laughter is essential to my soul. So if we can't have fun together, we can't
to the
tell
soul
a joke.
sometimes.
If we can't have fun together, I'm not interested. So I'm young. I'm having fun. I'm making a lot of money
In
this
Atlanta.
time.
And that's how it starts. Yeah.
Yep. And so I'm outside, like before outside was outside. So I have always been able to finance myself, right? So I've kind of been able to determine who I'm gonna date, how I'm gonna date. Like it's kind of been to my liking. So met this gentleman, and it was like he swept me off my feet, right? So it was days where don't go to work, you know. I'm gonna pay you. Stay at home. I'm gonna buy you whatever it was. So,
And you would call out too. We used to work together. She would call out.
Wouldn't come back for 5 days. Get a sick note and wouldn't come back. You know, it was the days of, hey, you know, it's a Friday. Let's go to Miami. Just let's go to the airport. I'll buy you clothing or whatever it is once we get there. So I'm having a really good time that I think of. So when I met this guy, he told me his name was one thing, right? And he was not that person. So press it. We all have to press it. So he gave me a full name, and I thought that
Wait, no
guy
nickname, a
Because
full name.
why else would you doubt it?
Wait,
No nickname,
it
a
was
full
nickname.
name.
Supposed government name and a nickname. Okay, so I'm calling him by this name, introducing my friends to this person by this particular name, and I booked airline tickets, everything under this name. We were going to dinner one night. This is how God worked.
Child.
And I had been dating him for a year at this point. We were going to dinner one night. We went over a speed bump. All this mail fell in my lap. So I looked down at the mail, and I'm like, why would he have another man's mail? Like,
That's a
he
stroke
would
of
do
God.
this. Right?
Jesus.
So I'm like, he doesn't have a brother. He has 2 sisters. So
Allegedly.
who the hell is this? Right? So Shannon, ruminating mind. I couldn't let it go. We went to dinner. We had fun. Oh, by this time, he tricked me. Moved from my own place So I lived with the enemy at this time. So
Wait, so you gave up your
moved you
place to move in with
I
him?
gave up my place to move in with him at this point.
You and your child?
No.
Okay.
She wasn't alive then.
Okay.
So I move in with this person. So after we left dinner, I went downstairs. I'm sitting at the table. So I get my MacBook out and I Google this name. When I Google the name, 57 mugshots popped up.
Bitch.
And
What?
it's him.
Reese Teesa before she was Reese Teesa.
Okay. So
No, for
can't.
real.
I'm like, what in the world?
You said 57, like 5 cents?
57. So the first thing I do is go to Fulton County Sheriff's Office website and I put in this name that I saw on the mail and I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is who I live with. Like, what the hell? So all the charges, aggravated assault, kidnapping, burglary. So I'm sitting there like, oh my God. Like,
A whole year.
whole year. But the whole year, because he has money, he has paid someone to change his identity.
What?
Money
So you're
talks.
no longer this
Wait, what did he
person.
do for a living?
He was
A street pharmacist?
yes.
Okay.
To the max.
Drug dealer.
But I was tricked on that too, right? As I would get dressed in the morning to go to work, he had uniforms in the closet downstairs with the false name on it. And he would beat me up in the morning dressed to go to work that he didn't
Wait, you said
have.
beat you up. You mean beat you
Like
too?
beat-
Yes,
to
beat me
oh.
up in the morning to get dressed to go to work. That you didn't have, the job that you didn't have. But you're putting on the uniform as if you're going to this auto mechanic shop, right? Because you own the shop that never existed.
Was he using CPNs?
No, like
Oh.
count the money on the floor. So,
Cause that's like some straight, like paid in full type stuff.
so when I found out who he was, I'm like, how am I going to get away, right? And at this point, when someone has told you you're in too deep, I was in too deep.
Oh my God.
So life was no longer fun at this point.
Can I ask you a question real quick? Did your mom know all of this was going on?
No.
Okay.
Does she know now?
Because when you're in that
Okay.
type of situation, much like mine, you feel so embarrassed for yourself that you just like,
So,
I ain't telling nobody,
so I
maybe
don't
a close friend.
I
but-
don't even think, and as educated as I am, I don't even think I mean, once I figured out, okay, well, you're a street dude. Okay, I had a wild side. You know that? Because it was me until I grew up. It took for me to have a daughter to say, you know what? My life is more important and more precious than this. Because I had every car, every purse, every shoe. I have gone to 50 countries, 5 continents. Even though he couldn't come because he didn't have a passport, but he can go to all the different cities.
And he would fund all that
sending
stuff
you.
too.
So he funded everything that I did.
What?
My friends did. We would go out, and it's like pictures that we have now, and it's by the building if that's what you want. But that came with a healthy price, one that I never grieved. So once I found out who he was, I confronted him, and I said, I called him by the name. And that's when I met the monster. He was no longer nice to me.
When did you like? Were you guys in the house sitting down? Like, where?
So when I first asked him, it was around Christmas. And so he also told me he had 2 kids. That was a lie. He had 7.
God damn. Sorry.
7 kids.
Same mama?
No, ma'am. And it was 6 moms, 6 different mothers. And then,
My lamb.
so it was a rule in our house. Like, we had so many cars, motorcycle. You can ask Candace. I drove what I wanted whenever I felt
What
like
part of
driving.
town was this? Not that they mean, but
So we lived in Buckhead.
Okay.
that was when Buckhead was actually Buckhead.
Yeah, when Buckhead was Buckhead. We walked out the door to go
Well,
across
like
the street to the club. We walked out the door to go on the back side of Phipps. We, I felt like there was a time like I had my way. But then it turned. It slowly turned because I knew who he was at this point. So once I figured out who he was, we were in the house. So his cousin and his nephew, like I was really close to his cousin and his nephew. His nephew was young. And so I'm just I felt betrayed because everyone knew who he was
Except
for me.
And nobody had the balls to tell you.
And no one had the balls to tell me.
So when you said his name, like, did you see his eyes just like change?
She didn't really.
Or did he see shock? He was like,
So we were in the house and we were getting ready to go to his family's event. And I said, so are they going to call you X or X? And then when I said the new name, we never made it to the family event. Yeah. So he just like, at this point, he blamed me. The victimization. He was the victim at this point.
Narcissist.
He turned it on me and was like, oh, you went through my things in the house. I never went through anything. It fell in my lap. And that was the first time that he hit me. So he hit me and I'm in shock. Like, how dare you put your hands on me? And he's like, so what you gonna do, leave? And I had enough money to leave. And that's when it turned into this, oh, you don't like me, you don't love me, I do everything for you, you don't pay a bill in the house, you get to save your money, how dare you gonna leave, right? I didn't care what he said because you hit me. And you can see I'm not that big. Like, I'm pretty
petite
short.
thing.
Yeah, and he was big. This is a big boy. So I'm just like, okay. So he didn't go either. So in my mind, I'm just like, I'm going to leave. Like, I don't care about any of this stuff in this house. Like, you can have cars. Like, I don't care about any of this stuff. It wasn't that easy. So that night, because I kept saying, I'm going to leave, I'm going to leave, I'm going to leave. Every time I eventually said, I'm not going to leave. But every time I would say, I'm leaving, they would hit me again. And this wasn't like a tap. He hit me like I'm a grown man. So he...
All within the same night.
All within the same night. And so he wouldn't let me go anywhere because at this point, I have bruises on me at this point. So I remember being in the dark and asking, like, can I use the restroom? And he would not let me turn the light on to see my face, my body, or anything about me. So he would walk me to the restroom. I know something's wrong. So he would walk me into the restroom and stand by the light and say, hurry up. So that turned into 8 days. I could not call anyone. I did not go to work. I didn't do anything. So for 8 days, he beat me consistently for 8 days. So I had one friend that figured something's wrong. Like, I been calling her. I have tried to look for her. And this, we wasn't really active on social, like Instagram at this point. But my friend, she talked to me like all the time. And so she's like, I know something is wrong. So she came. He opened the door and he told her that he's been looking for me, but he can't find me. And that's not like me. Now, I will go out of town. I will leave and go out the country, but someone will know exactly where I am.
This is before the whole Find My...
Yes, Find My. So he had also taken my cell phone, my 2 computers, my personal computer and my work computer, put it in the bathtub and my iPad, put it in the bathtub and turn on the water, fill the bathtub up.
Damn.
Right? So again, I have never seen this side of him before. I met the monster. So I'm trying to convince him, I'm not going to tell the police, just let me leave because I've been missing from work for too many days. And when you work at a mental health facility or any type of mental health facility, if you don't come to work for so many days, they're going to eventually call the police and send the police to your home because they're thinking maybe a patient did something to her. So like, you have to let me go to work. You're going to have to let me out of the house so I can go to work so they can physically see me to know that I'm okay. So I'm like, but I'm going to have to also get a doctor's note because I've been missing for too long. I'm going to get fired. So he's like, I have money to take care of you. No. I want my job. So, of course, when you have money, you can pay people to do whatever it is that you want them to do. So he did not let me go to the doctor. He knew someone that knew someone else that was able to get the doctor's note. So I'm thinking that, okay, I'll be able to drive to work and I'm never coming back. Whatever is in here when I leave to go to work, I don't care about it. I don't care about the phone. This is my way out. He drove me to work.
Jesus.
So he drove me to work, and I was just like, well, I don't know what time I'm going to come home, so I'm going to work overtime. So he's like, no, you're leaving now. You get off work at 7:30. I'm outside. Let's go. And so I'm just sad at this point because what I thought was going to be my escape, it was not my escape.
Because what did you think your escape was going to be when you got...
When I drove to work, I was gone. I didn't care about the car. I was going to leave the car, and I was going to get someone to take me. I wasn't going to go by my mom's because he knew where my mother lived. So I felt like I don't know where I was going to go because he knew my friends. Like, I just wanted to get out the house. Like, I can figure out what was going to happen next once I got out of the house. Like, you could take my bank cards or whatever it is. I had money. I can go and I can stay at a hotel. Only thing I was worried about is that let me run away. Like, let me get away. I can buy another car. I can buy new clothes. Like, I can't buy another
Right. When your friend came and he said that, he couldn't find you, did she just walk away?
She left.
Okay.
So, and she did not call the police because I think she feared that he would hurt me. So he's like, I think
she kind of knew.
That she's in there. And so she called him she knew because I texted a couple of us was in a group chat. And I'm like, y'all, this is not this boy's name. Like, if something happens to me, he did it.
Now, when he dropped you off to work, right, and he said you couldn't work overtime, I know you're probably just thinking, like, what can I do? Didn't want to tell nobody at work?
Nope. I never told anyone at work. When I went to work, I actually looked just like this, like happy, and I just smiled and I made it through my shift. When I'm in at work and I was sad because this was like the downward spiral of the entire thing. So I made it through this, but I did not leave. I was afraid. Like, I knew at some point I was going to die. So it's like, how do you leave? People always say in a domestic situation, why didn't you just leave?
Well, it's easier said than done.
Yep. Why didn't you leave? And it wasn't even the finances for me because I had money to leave. I could not leave. And Candace can tell you, I changed my phone number 4 or 5 times. I remember all of my phone numbers, all of them. Changed my phone numbers. I used to move to different places. I remember moving into an apartment and I knew I was safe. Concierge, somebody there, you had to go through, it was like Fort Knox to get in. I walked in my apartment one night, turned on the lights in the living room. Guess who was sitting in my living room?
That would have freaked me out.
This is after you.
Thought I got away. Got away, got a new car. I changed the plates on the car. I started leaving out of the hospital a completely different way. Switched my shift, so he did not know. And so it was like a month. I started feeling better. Like, I moved to a different side of town. Left him in Buckhead. I moved to Cobb. I went home. I turned the living room light on, and he was sitting in the living room. And he's like, are you coming home? This is my home. So that was a continuous cycle. I bought you a new car. I don't want it. I had a new car. I think I was one of the ones in the city of Atlanta, the first one that had a Stingray.
I remember that.
Yep.
I remember that.
I would go avid of going homecoming. Don't miss a homecoming. I went to homecoming. Guess who showed up?
All the way in Florida?
All the way in Florida. All the way Daytona Beach.
And about how long had it been since you actually got away? Well, we thought
I got away. Yeah. Yep. He came to Daytona Beach. I was with my line sisters, and we were by the tree. And I've just, sometimes you can feel someone looking at you.
Especially, like the area.
So this nigga was in the tree?
Girl, no, I was at the tree. The Delta tree.
Girl, she said he was hiding in the bushes and stuff.
No, well, he was at the tree. And my line sister was like, somebody is weird. Like, just keep looking at you. I turned around and homecoming was over for me at that moment.
But this just goes back to what you said. When you have money, you could pay and you want to do. And you said he had all these connections and stuff like.
So people always say, well, if I was being battered, if I was abused, I would leave. Like, oh, she's stupid. I guess I was stupid. I could not leave. I did not. He would go to my mom, like outside of my mom's house because I'm dating you. So at a year and a half later, we live together. I've introduced you to my mom, my family members, my closest friends that I'm with all the time. So it was almost like a cycle. You know where I was going, or you know where I would typically go. So I'm embarrassed. Who do I talk to? It was the darkest time of my life.
Right.
There was nothing happy about it. I don't care what kind of car I had. I don't care what purse I had. I don't care about any of that. I just want to be happy. So I couldn't talk to anybody because it's Shannon. Who would ever think that it's you that's being abused? So I couldn't go to, I had one friend that I could talk to it about because she had already dealt with something similar like that. So I could tell her because I was her support when she was going through it. But she didn't go through any of the stuff that I went through. Like, it was hell. So it had just gotten to the point he would just be driving and like, get out the car. Like, this is like a movie scene. Like, get out the car. And I'm like,
and do what?
Girl,
Walk?
leave me.
Wow.
Yes, he left me on Moreland one day.
Oh God.
And with it, I had to call my friend. Her and her now husband came to pick me up. And after that, he was the victim. And of course, he took it out on me because I left.
Of course, manipulating you, gaslighting you.
Because I left and I didn't stay. Like, I hid behind the building until my friend came in. She was like, I'm going to come and get you. Like, we're on the way now.
Let me ask you this, and this is such a sensitive subject. I'm sorry, but did it ever get to the point where like he like hurt you, like
Yeah.
like to the point where,
But I could never go to the hospital. Because if you go to the hospital, then they're going to ask.
You have to report it.
And even though I'm dark skinned, like, the bruises, like, on my side.
they were very visible.
They were huge. Like, on my, one time I thought, like, my ribs were broken. And it would just be awful. Like, and it got to the point where I felt like I was mute. Like, I didn't have a voice. Like, it's almost like a kid that's consistently chastised by the parent that didn't like them. So I didn't talk anymore.
And did he apologize after he did it every time? Because you know that's what they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. It was
he would
like,
buy me a car.
oh, that.
I would buy you a car. I would buy you a house.
So every time he
Try to
hit you,
materialize
just buy
everything.
You,
Yeah.
So it was, I beat you, but, oh, well, I know you wanted these shoes. He knew what size shoes I'm wearing. He knew, like, okay, well, every Chanel purse I had, most of the time, he bought it, you know, or I bought you this, or I'm going to take you here. But at some point, I didn't want to go anymore. Like,
You wanted your peace and your happiness.
You can't be right.
Then he would also disappear. So initially, he would go ghost, and I would check the jail, and I would check the hospital because the morgue, I would think that he was dead. So after he started beating me, I was so happy, like, oh my God, please don't come home.
Ghost.
You know, so, and I would leave initially, like when he would be gone for 2 weeks. To me, that was my escape. So, because I don't even know if he paid. Sometimes I question, did you pay one of my friends to tell you where I went?
Or a private investigator or something.
So now,
Right.
I never grieved this. My apartment now is not in my name. My car is not registered to where I live. If I lose my driver's license, it's not to where I lay my head. And these are all triggers from my past trauma. I don't let anyone know where I live. And I love Candace. Where do I live?
Girl, I don't know. We always meet out.
And that's because I have a little girl now. So I have a daughter, but I still have these past traumas of
That's real.
what happened to me. And I never, and I'm sorry.
No.
Let me go backwards. So he would cheat.
They ain't got the nerve to cheat.
And blatantly tell you.
Oh, he would cheat real bad.
He would just tell you.
It was, hey, Barbara, I'm Shirley.
Oh.
This is Shirley. They would call. Yes.
Hey, Barbara.
Hey, Barbara, this is Shirley. Oh, they would, hey, Barbara, me Shirley. And I would want to, please.
Take him.
Take him. You have him.
Take him.
You can have everything I have. The purse, the cars, the clothes, whatever it is, you can have it. I don't have to ever get a bundle a week. Like, just have
Did you just say a bundle?
Yes, I don't ever. Because he would just, hair long, he would snatch the bear. It was just crazy. So women would think that that was the life that they wanted because he would put it on his Instagram. I just bought her this, and it would be a lot of things, but you didn't tell them.
They didn't know the backstory.
Why you bought these things, or I just bought her a new car. He bought me a Hellcat. Do I look like I want a Hellcat?
So in the midst of all this, and even now with the past trauma, like how did you just
finally
get rid of him?
Get away.
And get away.
What was that final moment?
He was murdered.
That's how you got away.
That's how I got away.
Did you confirm he was? Like you?
Well, so the scary thing, and we were not together, but he would still call. So, and things, it's so crazy. My daughter's father and I would sneak to see him. So crazy. You see how you're looking at me like, what do you mean?
It's not, no, because I know people.
Yeah.
It's the manipulation. Yep. And to make you think that no other man could be.
Yep.
I
never felt safe. Even though I was in a relationship with somebody totally different, I'm always afraid because I know he was going to kill my daughter's father. Like, you cannot touch her. And I always like make this joke like prior to like, oh, I like my man obsessed with me. No, I'm not. Don't say that because that was something that he did. Like if you're not here with me, you cannot be with anyone else. And he would text me and say, I'm gonna kill you. But he wasn't the first guy. The first time I was hit or beat was in high school. And he did try to kill me. He shot up my mom's house, but just a whole different.
I know none of that.
Yes, in high
So
school.
this is like something that happened.
It was a cycle. But he was. I don't even know what was wrong with him. But
he was so young. That's high school.
Yeah, went from high school to college. But in college, like when I went to Daytona, I was in Daytona. So whoever I dated in Daytona, like it was just in Daytona. But it was a cycle. Like it was so crazy. But the last one that we were just speaking about, So I was dating my daughter's father, had a whole different life, but he would check in every now and then, like, and say that, hey, I miss you, like, are we still going to move to North Carolina? Like, I would just have to tell him anything, he's like,
him, right?
Yeah, so he's like, Atlanta is getting too much for me. I think I've got myself into something that I can't get out. Like, I'm ready to settle down. Do you want to get married? And I'm like, I don't want any parts. So I'm like, well, I have a lot going on. So I was in nursing school at this point. So he paid for me to go. I couldn't even function at school most of the time because I would just hold my head down sometimes and just cry because I could not function on what I was going through because I don't have an outlet. Like I would stay at work at nighttime. Work was like my safe haven. It was safe for me because you can't get me at work. You don't have a key. How you going to get in? Then you're going to let all the mental health patients out, which you should be in here anyway.
Well, the way you saying he paying everybody, you never know.
True. Yeah, probably Mr. Al. So, it's not funny, but I can make light of the situation now. So I was pregnant. I was 3 months pregnant. And I didn't look like I was pregnant, but I was pregnant. And he called and he said, go to Phipps and Clarence. Clarence was one of the sales reps at Chanel.
Not me.
And he said that he has something for you. Go pick that stuff up. And then he said, I also need you to go into the mall and get my stuff from out of Saks. They opened a new restaurant in Atlanta, and they have me on the list, and I want you to go with me. So I know I'm pregnant, and I know he knows exactly what my body looked like and how I look and everything else. So I'm like, okay. And he said, I'm going to send you some money to go get your hair done, do whatever it is that you need to do, but you need to be ready on Thursday by 9:30. And I'll pick you up. And I said, you don't even know where I live. And he said, I'll pick you up.
Oh, so he knew.
He knew. He just let me be for a while. So Thursday night come, and I had the things, and I'm like, I don't want to go. How am I going to get out of it, right? So if I wear a sweater, he's going to know something's wrong. If I dress differently, he's going to know. So he called Thursday. He said, I'm sick. I can't come. We're not going to go. I'll get the things from you on tomorrow. So the next day was Friday. So he called again on Friday. And at this point, I am scared shitless. Like, if I take off all of my clothes, I look pregnant. But if I put my clothes on, I don't look pregnant. And this is what comes with him. Like, we're not just going to go out. You going to love bomb me and you take my clothes off. Even if I don't want to do it, you're going to do it anyway. So am I going to die? Like, what's going to happen to my baby? Like, I'm scared. So I'm just like, okay, so LaCure, y'all know the whole ghetto club. So he's like, I got to go to LaCure. I got to go do something. So I'm going to run over here right quick. Infamous line. I got to go make a play and I'll call you back and I'm going to come and get you. Same thing. So I'm at my mom's house. Like, I'm scared. I'm just laying in my mom's bed. And so my mom, she didn't even know I was pregnant. She was like, why you over here? Like, go home. You going to stay or whatever. And I still can't tell anyone. Like, I'm scared. Like, I'm thinking today's my last day. Because how do I come back to tell you that I'm pregnant? Like, I'm in a whole different relationship. So I lay down. My same friend that knew something was wrong with me, she called back to back. And I'm just like, I didn't want to answer the phone. So she called again. So I answered the phone and she said, look at the news. And I said, what's on the news? And she said, just turn the news on. So I get up, I turn the news on. Dead. So that's how I got away.
Did you have a peace of mind at that point?
So I didn't know how to process my emotions. I was safe now, but I didn't know if I was sad. I didn't know. I could not process those emotions.
I get that.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
I did not. I did go to the funeral. I went to the funeral with my friend that actually I met during the process that did like me. But his response was he knew him. They were off on the street. Like, he was like, you in over your head. Like, I ain't messing with you. Like, I don't know how you gonna get out of this.
So his name rang bells.
Yeah, he was Mr. Like.
Do you still affiliate with the cousin and nephew? Like,
So I saw the nephew called, and I talked to him. So I do. The nephew, I think the nephew tried to protect me. Because the nephew would get put out the car with me too. So he cursed the nephew out.
How old was the nephew? Like, were y'all around the same age?
No, we were not. I was like 15 years older than the nephew. But I felt like the nephew was my protector. Like, even though he knew, like, auntie, just don't say nothing. Like, he tripping. Like, don't say anything. Like, I had to use the restroom one time. And I got out the car and went to go use the restroom because I don't even know where he went. And when he came back, it was the biggest deal. Like, everything would set him off. So his kid's mom, like, I think she was one of them. Like, I still speak to her. And she would just be like, I'm so sorry you had to go through this.
because she went through it.
She went through it. And her time was over. It was my time now. And she used to just be looking like, I don't know how you gonna get away. So that's the only way. And now I sit and I didn't. Like, I don't know if I ever came back to that person prior to him. If I ever got back to the Shannon I was before I met him. Because I was pregnant. So now it went from survival to now I got to raise this baby, even though it wasn't his kid. But
weren't you happy about that?
Oh, I was happy about that.
Yeah.
Good God.
That was nothing but God.
Yep. So it was, how do you process? Like, when you asked him, how did you get back to yourself? So the whole time, I look at pictures now when I was in that, and this was over a 7.5, 8-year span. So I was battered over not the first 2 years, so 6.5 years. And I would look at pictures of myself and I just look empty. Like, I see through, like, it's just a body there. Like, no soul was there. Like, I'm just there. even though I was in a dark place, I continuously showed up for my friends.
You did, Shannon.
Yeah, you did.
I gotta give you that. Because half of this stuff I knew, but I didn't know half of this stuff. So that's why I'm having this response.
I'm feeling all.
It's inspiring, and people need to hear it because I think in today's times, and I've said it before here, that we embrace toxic relationships, and we never see this. We never talk about the side of people who are stuck in a toxic cycle, not because they want to be, it's because they really cannot get out. And so I want to invite you back for part 2 of this because it is a conversation that definitely needs to be had.
Absolutely.
And so
Would you come back?
I would.
I know we had but I do have one question to ask. I'm sorry. Do you ever think, like in your mind, and just be like, if I never ever called him out by his real name, would has that ever happened? Because you said it never happened until you called him out by his real name.
I think it would eventually happen.
But it was good for like 2 years, though,
yeah,
right?
we were fine for 2 years.
So
I think he just
met the
loved
representative
me.
first.
Yep, and that's it. I think he loved me. Eventually, I was gonna do something to trigger him. Something.
It was going to be a movement. It was going to be
something.
Yeah, because he's textbook narcissist, so it's always going to be something.
But in the first 2 years, you didn't do nothing.
The first 2 years, I did absolutely nothing. Like the first 2 years, he loved me to death. First 2 years, he almost tricked me to marry him. First 2 years, yep.
And God saved so many people by his death.
Yeah.
I almost married him because it was just me being, I don't know.
Yeah, no.
It's like, I keep like whatever it is that I wanted. So it's like, hey, you want to get married?
We definitely need a part 2.
So
we'll talk about the timing.
So the next, the next time we're gonna talk about,
life
what
after.
your life after.
Yeah.
Life after.
How you come back from that.
Life after.
And let me just say thank you.
Yes,
for
thank you
even
sharing
being vulnerable and sharing that honestly, because a lot of
Yes.
women can't talk about that, especially the experiences that you went through. So I thank you, seriously.
You're welcome. I mean, and I hope it inspires someone
And
else
it definitely
because
will.
someone right now is going through this exact same thing.
And we wanted to ask you that question. If someone is going through it, not if someone is going through this right now, what would you tell them? I know that's like a very vague, loaded question, but because you never know who's listening.
Right.
What would you tell them?
Preparation and plan. You know, if you're able to have a support system, at least tell one person what you're going through. Write notes in your journal. If someone would have found my phone, they would have known it all.
Everything.
It's there. It's in my, I still use that
Paper trail.
in my notes, that what happened, pictures attached to pictures, they're still in my phone. I contemplate deleting them, but no. So do that. If you can go to a domestic violence shelter, change your name.
We'll
Leave
drop
it
some in
all.
the link too. When we
Yeah.
post
Yeah,
it.
most
And let
definitely.
the people know where they can follow you. Oh, if
Yes, that's fine. No, you can. What is my
Camera
name?
one. That's camera 1, camera 2.
Yes.
Camera 2.
So my handle on Instagram, it's the mayor. So it's my sorority line name. It's DAMAYOR. And I think there's an underscore 16. Let me check.
Well, while she's checking, CJ, how can they find you?
you can find me at I am just CJ, all one word, on Instagram.
And you can find me at A_man most worthy.
And you can find me at CMJEEZZY. That's my personal page. And the business page is at SHOT_AHCLOCK.com. Check us out at www.shotoclock.com. Enter in the number 2 and then year at checkout for a discount.
So that was correct. It's Demaire_16.
Hey.
And we will be back
We'll be
for
back
part
for
2.
part 2.
We will be back for part 2. And Shannon, thank you.
You're welcome.
So much.
Thank you again.
We're going to wear the same clothes for part 2.
Green so stupid. But before we end, though, special guest. You're going to have to play around at Shot O'Clock. No drinking because I was too scared to go to the liquor store in the corner because we in the hood. But it's going to be strictly Black women's history questions. Entertainment, though. Entertainment. So this is your buzzer. Who going to play against Shannon? Okay.
No, you know a lot of music.
We're playing now?
We got what? About.
No, we don't have no time.
Well, our engineer ain't back in the room yet.
Oh, okay.
So we about to get this thing popping. Let's just 60 seconds.
Go.
60 seconds. And
well,
start the timer. Start the timer, CJ.
I got it. Go ahead.
Okay. Give me a countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Which black female TV and film producer created Grey's Anatomy? Ava DuVernay, Shonda Rhimes.
Shonda Rhimes.
There you go. Which HBCU did the first female vice president of the United States graduate from?
Howard.
That was you. Okay. Which actress portrayed the Betty Shabazz in the movie Malcolm X?
Angela Bassett.
Okay. Which songstress sung the theme song for the television series Girlfriends?
Angie Stone, rest in peace.
Okay. What is the name of Issa Rae's iconic YouTube series? Crazy Black Girl, Funny Black Girl.
Aqua Black.
Aqua Black Girl. I knew that.
Okay.
I'm
Who
losing
became
back.
the first black recipient of an EGOT status? That's Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony.
Whoopi Goldberg.
There you go.
Well, I was
Okay.
gonna say the wrong thing.
Who was the first African American woman to become a principal dancer in the American Ballet Theater? Fatima Robinson, Ashley Everett, Misty Copeland, or Big Liz?
Just stop
It
after
was
this.
Fatima, right?
Girl was Misty. Misty
Okay, that's
Copeland.
it. Stop.
Okay.
He won anyway.
Yeah.
You treat the guests so bad.
But you did good. Y'all did good. Y'all did good. Know your history. So thank y'all so much. We do what we leave
Thank you.
our pride.
Check your pride and ego at the
should know
door
this.
and come with love.
Yes.
Amen.
I love
Thank
y'all.
you all for having
Thank
me.
you for being
And she'll
here.
be back
Thank you.
for
Yes.
part
Thank
2.
you.
Yes.
Y'all
Yes.
tune
Yes.
in. Love y'all.
Love y'all.
Peace.
Bye.
Love you.
That was good.
That was powerful.